friends, welcome back to Sam's Everyday Cooking. I hope you all are well and looking after yourselves. So today we are going to make biscuits. Now for the rest of the world, this is biscuits. This is what you have with your tea. But for the Americans, biscuits is a savory scone and you can have it with cream cheese or butter or whatever you like. So let's begin with biscuits. Let's begin. For this, we have the dry ingredients over here, and then we have wet ingredients here. So we are going to work first with the dry and then with the wet. Let me just take you through all the ingredients. So we have 2 cups of flour, salt, about a teaspoon. We have 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Then we have some rosemary, which I'm just going to show you how we're going to work with the rosemary, and mustard. Now I don't have mustard powder at home, so we are going to combine these two and make a powder. For the rest of the wet ingredients, we have milk. Now I've taken about let's say about 2/3 cup of milk. I've taken less milk than required because I want to add a little bit of cream in it to just richen the biscuits. Not necessary. If you don't have cream, then you can just add a little more milk. We have some chives, about 1 tablespoon, 1 cup of grated cheddar. I would have preferred sharp cheddar. I don't have it, so we're just using the regular cheddar. This is 1 egg. This is just for brushing on the top to give it a nice glaze. We have 3 tablespoons of butter. So let's begin. I did forget to mention that I've got some Parmesan cheese which I grated for something else. I'm going to use this just for sprinkling on the top of the biscuits before they're put to bake, because it really gives a nice crust. And I'm going to also preheat the oven at 210. Taking rosemary, we'll take about approximately 1 teaspoon of rosemary, and we'll take a teaspoon of mustard. If you have mustard powder, that will work even better. The yellow mustard powder I don't have. We are going to use whatever we have at home. You don't have to go and specially buy anything. And sprinkle some salt in it. And now I'm going to crush it. And cover your hand and then crush, because the mustards fly all over the place. You see how it's been crushed, and it's got such a beautiful fragrance of the rosemary. So this is how it should be. It's not very fine, but it's not very coarse either. So now I'm going to sieve everything. The flour, salt, that's 2 level teaspoons of baking powder, and we are going to seal it. Okay, and here we add the spice mix as well, which is the rosemary and the mustard powder. So I've added our butter in there, and we're going to gently work, just like the scones that I showed you. It has to be very gently done. So even if there are bits of butter that is left behind in the dough, it's all right. When it bakes, the butter is anyway going to melt. So we have to work very gently with this. It's not like a dough for bread. It's a very light bread, so you have to work also very gently. Now into this, I'm going to add our cheese. Once again, very lightly. The chives. Now if you don't have chives, if you have some coriander leaves at home, by all means put that. It's up to you. You can put parsley as well if you like. Into this, I'm going to start adding our milk. and go slow. Add slowly because you don't want to make it into a very wet mixture. So very gently start adding your milk. Now I'm going to mix it all in a bowl, and then I will work on another surface after this. I have bought a very nice, I ordered it online, silicone mat on which I'm going to work. It's the first time I'm going to try it, and I hope it works well. So I'm going to transfer our dough, which is not really come together yet, onto my silicone mat because it'll be easier to work from here. And now we gently just bring it all together, and I will also add the cream, 1 tablespoon of cream in it. Like I told you, I'm adding the cream just because I happen to have it. If you don't have cream, just use milk. It's perfectly fine. Full cream milk will just do well. It has to be a bit of a wet, sticky dough. It's perfectly fine. Just adding, sprinkling a little bit of flour just so that I can bring it together. And now I'm going to start. No need even to roll it, just flatten it with your hand, it's enough. And you see all these flaky bits? This is what I want. It has to be this flaky. The more flaky it is, the lighter your biscuits will be. Okay, now you roll it. Okay, you roll this. Now this will form your flaky biscuits, and you'll have to get 8 pieces from this. So I'm going to divide it into 2 and then again divide it. I'm going to divide it into half first, then again into half, which makes 4, and then again into halves. If the tail ones are a little bit smaller, just add in a little bit from here so they all become equal. And then gently roll it. Okay. This size is perfect. So my biscuits are all done, as you can see. It's not perfect. Some of them are a little bit bigger than the other. It's all right. It's not a problem. It's all going to bake any case. So now we just break up our egg yolk and then lightly brush all the biscuits with the egg yolk. If you want egg white, you can do it with egg white. It's up to you. It just gives a nice sheen and color to the biscuits. Like when I'd done the scones, I'd use the egg whites. Now I'm using egg yolk. So on this, I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of Parmesan cheese. This is also optional. If you don't have it, it's no big deal. Just don't do it. Right now, it's just about whatever you have at home. Since we're all in lockdowns, just use whatever is available at home. This is going into the oven at 210, between 200 and 210, depends on your oven, for 15 minutes. Whilst our biscuits are baking, I'm going to prepare 2 kinds of dips, both with cream cheese. You can use any kind of cream cheese. You can also use the low-fat one. I'm just using the original Philadelphia one. For this, I have got, once again, whatever I have at home. I have some chopped olives which I'm not using, so I thought I'll use that in it. I have some zaatar, so that's it. And then we have dill leaves, some olive oil. Now these are 2 different versions of the cream cheese. You can make either of them. Going to chop up these dill leaves very, very, very fine, almost like minced, because I personally don't like dill leaves coming in my mouth, although I love dill leaves. And if you don't have dill leaves, you can use parsley, you can use chives, you can use coriander, mint, whatever taste that you like. Then I'm also going to mince up the olives, about a little over a teaspoon of olives. You can use black olives as well. It all depends what you have at home. So we just take the dip, and you can just use any small cute little containers to put your dip into. I'm just using this one. Just going to make it a little presentable, so design a little bit, and then you add some olives on it. And you see how pretty it looks? So that's our cream cheese and olive and dill dip. For our second one, so once again we'll take about approximately 2 tablespoons, a little bit more of the cream cheese. And then you sprinkle some zaatar. This is ready-made zaatar mix. As much or as little as you like. I love zaatar, so I'm going to be very, very generous with this zaatar. For those who don't know what is zaatar, it's a Middle Eastern Arabic mix, and it's very, very delicious. I think it's available almost everywhere now. And a drizzle of olive oil on this, and a little bit of sprinkle of salt. So zaatar has already got enough spices. I'm not going to put any pepper in it, and just mix it all up. Once again, I'm going to take it out in a tiny little container and fill it up with our second cream cheese, the zaatar one, which is also really delicious. Completely different flavors, and that's the point, to have different flavors with your biscuits. Once again, I will just decorate it a little bit, give it some nice design on this. And sprinkle a little bit of zaatar on it, so you know it's a zaatar cream cheese. Friends, so our biscuits are ready. You can see they are so light. They have a beautiful golden brown color, and this can be served with zaatar cream cheese, your olive dill cream cheese, and it's so simple to make it. Even the kids can join you in making it. Do try it and let me know how it turns out for you. Until then, until next time, see you and take care of yourselves. Bye friends.